In Britain, £100,000 is the magic number. It is the six-figure milestone. The moment the online pension calculator finally rolls over into 6 digits, and something in your chest quietly relaxes, you feel like you have finally made it. The struggle is over. The number is real, but here is the uncomfortable truth for 2026. If £100,000 is the total size of your pension pot, you are not standing on a mountain of gold. You are standing on a trapdoor. And over the next 8 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly where the floor gives way beneath you. Let us start by turning that pot into a paycheck, because a number in an app is not money. Income is money. Every sensible drawdown plan in this country is built around one idea, the 4% rule. Withdraw roughly 4% a year, and your pot has a fighting chance of lasting a 30-year retirement without running dry. So take your glorious £100,000 and do the arithmetic. 4% is £4,000 a year. Divide that across 12 months, and your six-figure fortune pays you £333 a month. That is the reward for a lifetime of saving. £333 a month. That is not a mountain of gold. That is a modest phone contract and the weekly shop. But the state pension, I hear you say, that is my scaffolding. And you are right, it matters enormously. The full state pension in the 2026 tax year is worth £12,548 a year. Stack your £4,000 of drawdown on top of that, and your total retirement income comes to just over £16,500. And here is a cruel little detail for 2026, that state pension now sits just £22 below the frozen personal allowance, which means almost every single pound of your private drawdown is taxable from the very first penny. So let us hold that income up against the benchmark that actually matters. The PLSA, the body that defines what a British retirement really costs, sets its minimum standard for a single person at £13,400 a year. The good news? You clear that floor. The bad news? By almost nothing. Your entire six-figure pot buys you barely £3,000 a year above the absolute bare minimum. And the retirement most people actually picture, a car on the drive, the odd meal out, one holiday abroad, the PLSA calls that moderate. It costs £31,300 a year. You are not near it. You are roughly half of it. Now, let me give you the picture that makes this real. Forget the heating bill for a moment. Think of an aeroplane. Retirement is a flight, and your pot is the runway. A comfortable retirement needs a long, smooth runway, enough tarmac to take off gently and stay airborne for 30 years. £100,000 is a short runway. On a perfectly calm day, with no surprises at all, you might just lift off in time. But retirement is never a calm day. There is turbulence, a market crash in your first few years of drawdown, a boiler that dies in January, a car that finally fails its MOT one time too many. Every one of those is tarmac you did not plan to use. And on a short runway, you do not get airborne. You run out of road while you are still accelerating, and the ground is coming up fast. And here is the turbulence that nobody warns you about. Call it the grandparent tax. Because in a British family, retirement is not spent alone. It is spent surrounded by people you love and cannot say no to, the grandchild's birthday, the university top-up when the maintenance loan falls short in November, the quiet, unspoken hope that you might help, even just a little, with a first home deposit, because heaven knows they will never manage it on their own. These are not luxuries, they are love expressed in pounds, and they are the most dangerous withdrawals of all, because you make them with a full heart and an empty spreadsheet. A large pot absorbs them without noticing, a small pot cannot. These emotional withdrawals do not drain £100,000 over decades, they drain it in years. Then there is the reality of your body in 2026. Let us be honest about the NHS. The waiting lists are measured in months, and sometimes in years. So the day arrives when your hip gives out, or a cataract slowly turns the world to fog, and the letter tells you the wait is 18 months. Can you wait? If you cannot, you go private. And a hip replacement in 2026 costs, on average, around £14,000. Read that again slowly. £14,000 is 14% of your entire life savings gone in a single afternoon on a single operation to buy back a single piece of your own mobility. One hip, one afternoon, 14% of everything you ever managed to save. And while all of this is happening, there is a silent thief standing in the corner of the room. Inflation. Your drawdown feels fixed, The same steady, reassuring payment, year after year after year. But the price of everything around it is not fixed. At just 3% inflation, the purchasing power of your money halves in 24 years. So the pound you retire on today is a giant. It fills a trolley. But that very same pound in 2050 is a ghost. It buys barely half of what it once did. Your income has not dropped by a single penny on paper. And yet, quietly, while you were not looking, it has been cut clean in two. Now let me warn you about the trap that most people walk straight into, with a smile on their face. The 25% tax-free lump sum. HMRC allows you to take a full quarter of your pot, £25,000, completely free of tax. And it feels like a gift, so people spend it like a gift. The motorhome, the garden office, the trip of a lifetime. And I understand that impulse completely. You have earned it. But do the arithmetic before you sign. Spend that £25,000 in year one, and you have left just £75,000 behind to do the work you were counting on £100,000 to do. You have not been robbed. You have quietly demoted yourself, and that £4,000 of yearly income you were promised has just quietly become 3. So what actually breaks the trap? One word: velocity. Not the size of the pot on the day you happen to notice it, but the speed at which it is growing in the years before you retire. And the target is not £100,000. To lift clear of that trapdoor and climb toward the PLSA's comfortable standard, currently £45,400 a year for a single person, you are aiming far higher. You are aiming closer to £450,000. And I know that sounds impossible until you understand the single most powerful lever you have: tax relief. If you pay tax at the higher rate, 40%, then every £80 you put into a pension is topped straight up to £100 by HMRC. The taxman is quietly matching your savings. So every single year you spend in that higher rate bracket without maximizing your contributions is a year you are leaving free money, your own money, sitting on the table. Whether it goes into a SIP, a workplace pension, or sits alongside an ISA, the principle never changes. Velocity now buys freedom later. So here is the truth to sit with. Wealth in this country is not really a number at all. It is resilience. It is the quiet ability to take the turbulence, the private hip, the grandchild's deposit, and 30 long years of inflation, and stay airborne through every single one of them. £100,000 is a magnificent start. Be genuinely proud of it, but do not, for one moment, mistake it for the finish line, because it is not a summit, it is base camp. True freedom was never a big number glowing in an app. It is a pot large enough to silence the maths completely, so that one day, at long last, you can stop calculating, stop worrying, and finally just listen to your life. If you learned something, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.